up? It's your girl Neek, and you're tuned in to Neek at Night. And tonight we're going to be talking about Halle Bailey and the post that I made on my community wall. And when I made the post, there was a lot of comments and engagement. And in this video, we're going to be reading through the post that I posted, why I posted it. And then one of the comments that stuck out to me that mentioned Jonathan Majors, and I thought, why not put them together in a title, and let's go through it. Now, if you guys are not aware, DDG and Halle Bailey are currently going through a custody battle. Halle Bailey went to the courts and she basically said, listen, this is a toxic situation to where he's putting the hands on me. He is trying to not adhere to the schedule that I want to impose as it pertains to the baby. We got into a little scuffle, and in the midst of us getting into a scuffle, he, manhandled me, and we're tussling with Halo, and then my head hits the steering wheel, and my tooth is chipped. And in addition to that happening, he showed up to my house while I was on vacation, took a picture of my bedroom, and alluded that I was doing hanky time with another man, and that's probably why I was not allowing him to see his child. So she filed that in court, got a restraining order, and to that he responded with his allegations. Now, in his response and in his allegations, there was several text messages dated way before she was pregnant that showed that she, anytime they would have discourse or anytime that she would feel angry or upset that he's probably entertaining other girls or out doing other things, they would say that they felt as though, she would respond by getting weapons, getting knives, getting all kind of different things, grabbing his pew-pew, all kind of things that are concerning. Now, a lot of people are stating that, he's a narcissist, and her reaction is because he's a narcissist and everything is his fault, and she's young, and this is her first boyfriend, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I just looked at that and I was wondering, at any point, does she have any accountability? At any point, is her reaction and emotional control her responsibility? And 90% of the comments, they felt as though anytime you deal with a man and he does something like cheating or gaslighting, and if you respond and you say, hey, I want to delete myself, or hey, I'm going to grab a knife, or hey, I'm going to grab a pew-pew. Anytime that happens, then the girl is a victim, and they are a victim because he's a narcissist and it's his fault. And to me, I felt like that was kind of bizarre, because anytime there is a story about a man who gets into any type of discourse with his partner, and he does that and says, oh my God, how dare you? I'm going to delete myself. There's literally never any type of sympathy. There's not all these think pieces. People are not trying to rationalize or try to make up why he may have these thoughts. They never are saying, oh, well, it's the girl's fault why he's saying that he wants to delete himself. It's the girl's fault why he did this. And a situation could be totally the opposite in roles, where the girl could be cheating and the guy is the one getting cheated on, and he's the one, saying, oh, I'm going to off myself. You would never see as many excuses. So I went to my community tab and I posed a question. And on the community tab, I said the following: because in my opinion, I feel like they both are toxic. In my opinion, I think that they both played a role. And in my opinion, they both contributed to the climate of the relationship. But whenever you say both toxic, women only hear you didn't side with the woman, you're male identified, you're male centered, and you only caping for a man. And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. Yeah, great, whatever. So let's read what I posted on my community tab, and also make sure that you guys are hitting the like button. And also, let me know what the sound is sounding like. Hopefully the sound is okay. All right. Let's get into it. So let me read the post that I posted up. Let me bring it up and get into it. And then also, too, he showed up to her house unannounced and took a photo in her bedroom. But when there was allegations that she put air tags in his property to track him and find his location and show up to his location, oh, it's his fault. But when he shows up to her house unannounced, it's his fault too. It's like both of them were doing toxic stuff, but everything is his fault. She tracks him. She puts air tags in his stuff. She shows up where he is. She pops up on him. That's his fault. He goes to her house. His fault. She says that she's going to do self-harm. His fault. Everything is his fault. And, oh, she was 22. His fault. I'm like, they both were young. They both were toxic. They both were immature. They both were doing irrational things. They both were doing things that were a situation to where neither one of them should have bared a baby into that situation. And both of them should be held accountable. However, if you think that only DDG should be held accountable, therefore, that means that you're male identified, you're a male centered woman, and you are a male worshiper. And that's kind of the sentiment that I gathered. But let me pull up the post as I stated and read through some of the responses. So this is the post that I posted right here. Let me move myself over. All right, so I posted a thread, and I also paired their photo along with it. And on here, I said, serious question, and I'm not trying to be funny or troll, but I really need to know. When a man cheat on y'all, is it normal to y'all to want to delete / unalive yourself? Because I see a lot, well, he cheated, so that's expected type comments. Tons of excuses for Hallie doing these things, like threatening to get a knife and do self-harm way before she was ever pregnant, a year before she was pregnant at that. It has me wondering if y'all life on a normal basis, when men hurt your feelings and cheat, everything, is it like the man's fault? And does that make you not have emotional control? Or what did I say? Men hurt your feelings and cheat, or is it everything the man's narcissism that makes you not have emotional control? And is there ever a choice way before kids is involved to leave? Or it's a man's narcissism always and never a choice of both making bad decisions and engaging in toxicity? Is it only men who are toxic, and do the men always make the woman toxic? The abuse allegations came after the Halo, after she gave birth to Halo on her part. So leave the abuse aside for this debate. I'm asking about pre-abuse because the self-harm reactions to cheating was way before Halo was born. So I'm wondering, was it ever her choice before she was ever pregnant, knowing the relationship was in the gutter, to leave? Or is it all DDG's fault because you guys say he's a narc? I'm genuinely asking for real. And I was just typing away, so, I flubbed through some of the structure of that sentence, but y'all get my sentiment. I'm just basically wondering, she had signs a year before she got with him that he was cheating, that situations was toxic, that he was entertaining other women, and she still continued to have a baby with him. Now, that goes for him as well. He's seen that she was toxic. He's seen that she was acting irrational. And he's seen that her mental was all over the place. And he still decided to have a baby with her. They both were doing things that were not conducive for a relationship and chose to still have a baby together. But everything is his fault. All right. So I just wanted to see some different takes of why people are coming to that sentiment. And after I was reading some of people's responses, one person chimed in and they said, which is why I put Jonathan Majors on the thumbnail, they said the following. They said, Jonathan Majors threatened self-harm and everyone called him abuser. So Hallie is abusive too, and so is DDG. Now, I didn't really cover a lot of the Jonathan Majors story, but I do remember that there was text messages of when there was an incident with him and his girlfriend, when they had a situation and they had a little tussle or a little situation. He was like, I'm just gonna off myself and I'm gonna delete myself. And I didn't see anybody give him sympathy. Now, DDG and Hallie, that wasn't even a tussle. That was just, he out entertaining females. Somebody said Hallie probably internalized, keyword probably, internalized all those trolls calling her ugly when she got Little Mermaid. Unless you have that happen to you, you don't know how your mental would be. So again, and my whole thing is, that's fine if you feel like she was validated. You said the sound is low? Hold on. Okay, that should fix the sound. Does it sound better? Hopefully, it sounds better. But anyways, so my whole thing with and the reason why I posed this and the true reason why I came to these questions, because it's never okay for a guy under any circumstance. So my whole thing is, a guy could be going through backlash. He can be the same age as her. He can be going through backlash and he can have a situation where he gets cheated on. You will never in a million years see all of these responses or all of these excuses. He would be toxic. He would be dangerous. You would the community of women would definitely be warning her to get a restraining order. They would be saying, girl, he's gonna unalive you. If there is a guy and a girl situation and the guy goes and threatens with a knife because she's out not answering her phone. Now, in the moment where she pulled up the knife, it wasn't even proven that he for sure was cheating in that threat. He's not answering his phone. She says she's going to go get a knife. Had that been a guy, there would literally be not one YouTuber that is pandering for Hallie saying, they would not be saying, oh, he was getting backlash. He's going through things. They would be telling women to leave him. He's dangerous. Do not risk your life. And they would be telling her to get a restraining order. So that's why I feel like it's always funny when it gets to these stories when it's time and the shoe is on the woman's foot and it's time for women to also have accountability. It's all of these different excuses. And again, we're not talking about postpartum. We're not talking about pregnancy. We're talking about pre-pregnancy before you ever get pregnant. There's never any accountability as it pertains to women when they do toxic things and they have toxic reactions as well. And it's never any accountability for women to pay attention to the red flags. It's always a new excuse each and every time. Always. Somebody said, Nick, you are misunderstanding social context. It's always going to be worse when a guy do it because they hold patriarchal power. It wasn't cool what Haley did, but let's be for real. So because they have patriarchal power and they're a man, they don't have a right to have feelings. They don't have a right to act irrational. But because a woman doesn't have patriarchal power, she could act irrational. She could go grab guns. She could go grab knives. She could go grab all of these things that are dangerous and can unalive her, him, and whoever else. But because it's a woman, what? It's less of a threat or what? Like, that's always funny, but no, definitely not. Definitely not. Excuses. Anyways, so let's read some of these other excuses in the comment section. Excuses, 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 excuses. And that's where the whole 100 women versus accountability conversation, I'm going to agree with the men. Y'all have zero accountability at all, which is sad and unfortunate. So, but let's read through some of these excuses because I wanted to know if women on a regular basis, after they are dealing with the man and cheating is involved, on a regular basis, is it normal for women to constantly say, I'm going to unalive myself, I'm going to off myself, I'm going to delete, 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 delete. You cheated, I'm a delete. Okay, I wanted to know if that was normal, and I found out that it was. It seems as though many women, as a response to being cheated on, they are saying that they are going to unalive themselves. They feel like their life is over and they want to pew pew themselves. So let's read through some of these. This person says relationships can become as addictive as drugs. Individuals become codependent and develop a behavior disorder that gives them the idea that they don't want to live without that person. It's all social media's fault. Deuces. I think it's a very judgmental question. However, everyone has a breaking point. Sometimes something is not about the cheating per se, but the intimacy. When you really believe you are in love and some things sometimes the sex is something you are dumb enough to believe the person is only doing with you, may it be trying new things or something oral. You cannot believe someone will do that with another person, especially when you are young. Most women are monogamous while men are living their best lives. It is very heartbreaking. When you are inexperienced, you can't wrap your brain around it and you feel shame and manipulated. Imagine losing your V card to someone and they've been cheating the whole time. All right. Someone says, speaking from a personal and spiritual point of view, I am guilty of threatening to unalive myself with my first boyfriend. I was way younger than Hallie, but I think DDG is her first real relationship too. My boyfriend was my first everything, so soul ties were created. I put him before God without realizing it. We were only around each other all the time. He cheated on me, and I was not ready for the relationship to be over. So thinking that he would leave me for the other woman, I threatened to harm myself, hoping that he wouldn't leave me to prevent it from happening. All right. So this woman right here is saying she had a boyfriend, and to prevent him from leaving her for the other woman, she threatened self-harm. And what she just typed out is what I imagine that Hallie did and what I consider manipulation. All right? For somebody to do what you want them to do and you go to the extreme of saying that you're going to harm yourself, that is manipulation. But according to the comments, that's heartbreak and that's not manipulation, and that can't be manipulative because he's the narcissist and it, but let's finish reading. She said, you get a decreased feeling in how much effort the other person is giving to stay in the relationship. You go from calling each other all the time to me calling with no answer, fighting to keep his attention and interest in the relationship. I really think it definitely has to do with a person's self-esteem, self-worth, lack of feeling/receiving acknowledgement and love when entering into a relationship, along with doing things outside of the will of God. All right. SC2376 says, Neek, don't bother with these biased people. They are both in the wrong, but everyone keeps capping for Haley. The thing is, if roles were reversed, would they keep the same energy? All right. And so I replied and said, absolutely not. But we know that. If a man did what she did under the same exact circumstances they say she was under, you see, before the baby, there would be no excuse for it whatsoever. All right. Now, this was a long one right here. If you guys want to look at it, this is someone saying from a therapist's point of view. All right. I'll just read like the first 2 points. She said, I'm a therapist who specializes in PD, traumas, and abuse. So I hope I can offer a clinical perspective to your question, Neek. For some people, especially those with attachment trauma or emotional regulations like BPD traits, betrayal isn't just emotional pain. Cheating can trigger full nervous system dysregulations that feels life-threatening. The partner isn't just a boyfriend. They've become tied to their sense of safety, identity, and self-worth. So when cheating happens, it can feel like a complete collapse. That's where you see extreme reactions like unaliving threats, not to mention, but as the brain's desperate survival response to what feels like abandonment. She said, Hallie's alleged behavior / text are a textbook example of what this can look like, not diagnosing her. And if you guys want to, finish reading through, her name is Princess India 4842. And my whole thing is, what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. If this is how we are breaking down things, then it should also be that for men, but it won't be, okay? And I am a person, if under these same circumstances, I would be dragging the man for filth, which, I'm definitely, you said that's still excuse. Oh, you said that's still no excuse. I'm trying. Let's read through some more. So this post, it got 417 comments. Now, we're not going to go through all 417, but we will go by the top comments on the thread. Oh, now it's 422. All right. So here for the tea and food says, fair question. No, it's not normal for anyone to feel like they want to delete themselves after cheating, but it does happen, especially when someone already struggles with mental health or trauma. That's not an excuse, but it's also not manipulation by default. Now, to your larger point, yes, both people in toxic relationships have the ability to walk away, but it's not always that simple, especially when emotional use or trauma bonding is involved. Narc abuse, for example, involves manipulation, gaslighting, and control, which can confuse the person into staying even when they know the relationship is harmful. Now, one of my questions to this constant theme that kept showing up in these responses of gaslighting, manipulation, and control, and keyword narc abuse, my whole thing is a man the only one capable of these things? Or is a man the only one that can try to control and manipulate a relationship by certain behaviors? All right. Somebody said, Neek, seriously, give them grace. They are young as HE double hockey sticks and don't have a clue about relationships between a girl and a boy. I've been in a 7 years young and big back crazy. So here's the thing, and I'm not sure if you guys understand my point, right? My point is that it's not that I'm not giving them grace, all right? I've been young. I've been toxic. I've been through a custody battle. My thing is they both were toxic. And my problem with the comments are that everything is DDG, 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 when they both had a role in it. She has a choice. If a person is not treating her right, if a person is cheating on her, she has a choice to leave. But everything is, he's a narcissist, so she had no choice. And that's like, there are choices in life. And you guys make it seem as though women are vulnerable victims in every single situation. My point is, both of them have a role, but my issue is that people act as though only one person is the guilty party. That's my problem. It's not that I'm not giving them grace or I don't think that age will make you do some crazy things. I had a whole video that I showed y'all that a dude that I was dealing with, he called me the B word. I didn't want him disrespecting me. I felt like that was disrespectful. Don't call me no B word. And I reached in my purse and I emptied my entire can of mace on his face. Now, once I emptied my entire can of mace on his face, thank the Lord above, he did not retaliate and hit me. Okay? And my problem is, like, there's cause and effect on both sides. Just because somebody does something that you don't like does not make your reaction acceptable. My reaction, although I felt like, you got me, I felt like, but had he went back after I maced his whole face and he went back and he went like this to me, I caused that. Like that, my reaction to him saying words to me, like had he went, I would not feel like I'm just this, you know what I mean? There is responsibility. Like I am accountable for how I reacted to those words. Okay? Now we did a whole story time about this. Y'all didn't hear it? So my thing is, I know women can be just as toxic. I know that I would cut up. So that when people try to act like because you're young, it's all the guy. No, it takes two to tango. A relationship is two people. That's my whole thing. You said 100% they both had the ability to leave when things went left. Neither are innocent. That's my whole point. Right, cuz I just, people always be like, "Oh, you a pick me. You a pick me." No, I'm team fucking accountability. Somebody said, "Oh my god, I can't believe another YouTuber that I like is male-centered and male-identified." I'm not male-centered or male-identified. I'm accountability identified. I am accountability identified. And guess what? I be wondering what type of conversations are these girls' mothers having with them in certain situations? Are mothers teaching their daughters that every single thing they're a victim of and they could just do whatever they want and they have no accountability because it's always the man's fault? Like, what are y'all mamas teaching y'all? Because I'm going to tell you what my mama taught me. When I came home and I was hyped up and I was turned up and I'm like, yeah, and I sat there because I maced him. And then after I maced him, the whole spot was erupted and he said, "I'm about to get my cousins to whoop yo." And I said, "And I'm going to sit right here and wait." So I sat there and we waited about an hour. Didn't no girls come. So I went home. I was living with my mom at the time. I was 19 years old. I was 19 years old and I went home and I told my mama, like, yeah, he called me the B word and he had me messed up. And I went in my purse and I grabbed my mace and I sprayed him in the face. And, I'm telling my mama the story. And yeah, he gonna say, woody, woody, woody. And my mama politely set me down and she let me know what you just did was assault. And you better hope he don't press charges on you. And you are very lucky that he did not put his hands on you. And you better keep your hands, fluids, and a mace to yourself unless you are in a situation where you truly have to defend yourself. Don't go around thinking that you can put your hands on men. Don't go around thinking that you can just spray men with mace, because every man is not going to react like that. Then she told me this story about how her and her homegirl was at some place and she's got in the guy's face and she started arguing with the guy and wooty wooty woo, and the guy hauled off and knocked her out. And my mom told me that you need to be a lady at all times. Okay, that was my mama always teach me. You need to be a lady at all times. And and words, she gave me the sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you speech. It's like, what are y'all mamas telling you? Because after my mama told me that, I was like, you right. Damn, he could have hauled off and hit me, Like, what, like, really, what would I have done if he would have went back and hauled off and hit me in the face? You know what I mean? What then? Like, and ever since that point, I never played that type of game. And then she also gave me the speech about, she said, and I bet I never see you play fighting with these dudes. She said, don't even let them play fight with you, because play fight turn to real fights. Okay, and my mom always instilled that in me. Don't be out here play fighting. Don't like, she play fights turn into real fights. My mom had a serious heart to heart with me. And from that moment, I would never allow a man to play fight with me. I would never, engage in any type of physical situation like that, because I really thought about it. Now, I was toxic for a little while. And like I said, I did a story time. And he even came on my channel, like, what was it, a month ago or whatever? And we talked about this situation that happened. You said, Neek, what? What you talking about? What? But yeah, so I be wondering, like, what do y'all teach y'all daughters? Because I don't think it's healthy. But anyways, let's finish reading through some You said you said, girl, how you look, you didn't see that episode? Right. Marcus G is just trolling and trolling and trolling and trolling and trolling. You is just trolling and trolling and trolling. You said how he looked. He was oh, I don't know what you're talking about. You definitely live and you learn. She's taking accountability by not taking him and taking their baby to visitations without her being there while what? She's taking accountability by not. I don't know what you're trying to say. Yeah, I see you trying to get my attention real bad. You trying to get my attention real bad, real bad. Everybody live about the Diddy stuff, but I didn't feel like listening to, watching, or feeling like going over the Diddy stuff because I talked about that earlier. But let's see. Oh, let me finish reading y'all. Y'all want to see my video? And also too, like when it's conversations and it involves a child, I think that a lot of people, because before I had my child, I didn't understand certain dynamics as it pertains to children, right? Like before I had my child, I used to be looking when people had kids that would act up in the store or throw tantrums, and I would be in the store and I would see the kid acting up. I before I had my daughter, I used to always look at people and think, ain't no way when I have my child gonna be throwing no tantrum. Ain't no way when I have my child, I'm gonna be in a store and my child cut up, until one day I had a daughter and I instilled morals, values in my daughter. And this is when she was a toddler, because I thought it was only certain type of kids that would do these tantrums in the store, right? And so I had my baby. We had a store. She throws a fit. Okay. This is when she was a toddler. She was probably like 2, 3 years old. She throws one of them type of fits that you see, you know what I mean? You think that only certain type of kids do these type of fits. And I just could not believe it. But it took me being a mom to understand the dynamic of mom, child. They have their own personality. There's different things that you learn and you adapt when you are a mother. There's also different things that you learn when you have a child when it comes to child custody, control, and a mother feeling like it's my baby. I went through 9 months with her. I popped her out, and I'm the one who can tell you when you can see your child and at what time. Now, I had also a lot of family. You said none of your kids ever. It wasn't no regular thing. My point was, you just never know about certain things until you actually experience it and you understand certain dynamics. You said, Neek, when are you getting the men straight? You have them call in. I need some ladies who disagree with you to call in. They all on other YouTubers' channels watching the Diddy breakdown right now. That's what they doing. You said she took accountability by separating herself, filing a restraining order. No. That's not taking accountability. Her filing a restraining order is not, oh, I'm taking accountability for my actions by filing a restraining order. No. No. Ay, ay, ay. King's daughter. King's daughter, I don't think you comprehend the point that I'm making. King's daughter says, I think your expectations are too high for two young people. You're expecting maturity from two people who are not there yet. Opinions around who's to blame is useless. Did you hear what I said? Or did you just click on? Did you hear what I said, or did you just clicked on right now? What? What? Did the point fly above or too below? Did I shoot too low with the point, or did the point go too high? Did the point go way too far up, or what? Like, I don't understand. Do I have to explain it again? Do I have to start over? Like what? Child, I don't understand. But let me read through some more of these comments. So, all right. So she said, fair question. She said, no, it's not normal for anyone to feel like they want to delete themselves after cheating, but it does happen, especially when someone already struggles with mental health or trauma. That's not an excuse, but it's also not manipulation by default. I beg to differ, but we'll read. Now, to your larger point, yes, both people in toxic relationships have the ability to walk away, but it's not always that simple, especially when emotional use or trauma bonding is involved. Narcissistic use, for example, involves manipulation, gaslighting, and control, which can confuse the person into staying even when they know the relationship is harmful. And no, it's not always a man's fault. Both people can make poor choices, but if someone was already emotionally unstable before the baby, that points to the deeper issues, not just blaming DDG. The key is to stop framing it as who's more toxic and look at what behaviors happen, when, and why. That's how the law and therapy approaches it. Someone else says they're both toxic as Another person says not normal, but it definitely happens. One shouldn't judge another thinking they any better. Somebody said, my perspective comes as a therapist. There's no excuse for her behavior. I don't know much about what's going on other than what I'm reading on your post, but there are key factors to her responses to him during those times. Actually, there are key factors to both of their responses. Age, brain doesn't fully develop until 25, self-worth, and how they grew up. When I was early 20s, I did / tolerated things I would never do now. However, I fully agree with your stance. Factors aside, right is right and wrong is wrong. We have to take accountability as women as well and understand the part we play in toxic relationships. Not everyone is a narcissist. I'm not saying that he is or isn't. And it's super important to self-reflect instead of always pointing the finger on who hurt us. Hope this makes sense to anyone reading. And then someone says, I highly doubt you're a therapist. You surely don't speak like one. Another person says, because you have met every therapist on the planet. Gotcha. Another person says, I agree with everything you said. When you are young, prior to 25, we do a lot of stupid things that we wouldn't do once we are fully developed. And it seems as though women just don't want to take accountability for a lot of their behaviors, even when they know they're in the wrong. And also the fact you said everyone isn't a narc. I'm so over that daggone diagnosis people just throw out there when they don't have the training or knowledge to use it. I really wish a new diagnosis would start trending. All right. Someone says, not everyone is the same. Some people can't handle or tolerate certain levels of pain like some do. Another person says, wait, I think I read that one. So she has been transparent about having issues with depression and anxiety. She also said that she's gotten help. It's also clear that the help worked because he has not one text of this behavior beyond March 2024. His receipts are stale. He broke in her house in 2025 and was harassing her on Mother's Day of this year. So to answer your question, as a person that struggled with depression and self-deletion thoughts in the past for years, it may not be normal, but getting help is what you do to fix it. DDG might want to get some help for his issues. All right. I don't think she really wanted to delete herself. That's old school manipulation. So they said they don't think she really was trying to do no self-deletion. She just was trying to manipulate. All right. And then they said that's actually kind of narcissistic of her as well, saying that, right? I don't know. I think she was asking for help, like she said. She was dealing with white people being mad about her being the Black Mermaid. That's a lot for a young person. All right. And so at the same time that people was saying Halle wasn't good enough to be in The Little Mermaid, at the very same time, the entire internet was telling DDG he wasn't good enough for her. But I bet you not one person who makes the distinction of, oh my God, she was having a tough time. White people were mad at her and they were giving her backlash. The same people were the same ones who the backlash that Halle was receiving from white people are the same ones who was telling DDG he's not good enough. But I bet you they're going to say that messed with Halle's mental, but they're going to also claim that that was not a situation to faze him, okay? They're going to be like, oh, well, it's like if you're going to claim that the backlash affected her mental state, what about the backlash from y'all saying that he wasn't good enough? Maybe the reason he cheated and trying to go deal with other women is because y'all said he wasn't good enough for her. Did y'all think about that? No. Do he get an excuse for how y'all tore his mental state down, saying that he wasn't good enough? No. Because at the same time, it was the same backlash. Somebody said, Neek, are you trolling? No. I'm being dead ass serious. I'm being dead ass. I'm being serious. What's the difference? You think that men don't have insecurities or they can't feel like they not good enough when the whole world is saying that she's so much better than you, she could do better than you? You don't think that would affect a guy's mental health or contribute to an insecurity or feel like they not adequate? I ain't trolling. I'm just saying, if that's the excuse that she was getting backlash and that's the excuse that we're giving her because life was so tough and these white people were making her feel insecure, his own community was making him feel like he was inadequate. Y'all the ones drove him to cheat. I'm just saying. All right, let's go to the next one. Someone says, I agree with your genuine question as well. I'm seeing so many women making comments saying, if y'all calling Halle crazy, then call me psychotic. Or if Halle crazy, then Lord bless me. And which is so alarming to me. Is this genuinely normal to women? Because if it is, then help is needed. When a man cheats on me, my first instinct is to not threaten self-deletion or make comments of manipulation. Sure, I might chew him out, but I'm going to leave. Like, I'm not understanding. And this is coming from a place of care and genuine concern. Maybe upbringing and psychological status and awareness have a lot to do with this, which might differ for everyone. I'm alarmed by both of their behavior, and neither should be praised or encouraged. I pray Hallie continues the treatment needed for her mental health. I have chosen and entertained some clowns through the years. Thankfully, I have never once thought about harming myself. I seriously threatened to bring harm to them. Thanking God for mercy. Prayers up. All right? She said, listen, I threatened to harm them. Okay? JJ said, y'all killing me. Neek is known for giving men their issue on the regular. And the one time she is holding a woman accountable publicly, y'all crashing out. Yeah, child. Y'all know. Y'all know how it go. Someone says, I thought she was going to be fair, but Neek is very DDG fangirl coded. I'm screaming, girl. Do you know back in the day when DDG, way before DDG was ever with a fucking damn Hallie, and he was faking beefs on the internet, and I seen DDG in person. I came to the internet and I blew up his whole spot and dragged the fact that they was faking beefs online and all of that. Okay, child, and up until Hallie, child, please. Child, please. Y'all funny. No, I don't. DDG is like that's a little boy to me. Not only is he a little boy, he's also a little boy to me. I'm old enough to be DDG mama. So I'm laughing with y'all, but it's really kind of like gross that y'all saying that because I'm literally old enough to be his mom. Literally, truly, honestly, I'm old enough to be his mama. You said, I understand she has blame, but I'm trying to understand how she has not taken accountability. You explain to me. Explain to me. Callie, don't be trying to send me your fraud PPP funds, cause you talking about you want to send me $200. You ain't finna get no Diddy freak off over here, and I ain't gonna answer your DMs, and I'm not doing no virtual date. So if you sending $200, you just want to send $200, but you ain't getting a freak off, you ain't getting a date, and you ain't getting no damn phone call neither. So hey, if you want to send some money, you can send it to my Cash App. But it better not be no fraud PPP funds or none of that at all. Period. Okay, child. You said she literally took accountability when she said the boy almost made her go crazy. What? What? She took accountability because he made her go crazy. She said he made her go crazy. What? Now I feel like y'all trolling. What? 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 We all trolling tonight. It's a troll fest tonight. We all trolling. Who got deleted? I didn't delete nobody. Y'all deleted somebody? I haven't deleted nobody. But let me open up the StreamYard link because it's Friday night. And I just feel like kicking it with y'all for real. I know y'all be mad at me or whatever, but hey. Faith says send it to mine. Let me put the StreamYard link. But when Jonathan Majors said that he wanted to off himself, did y'all feel sympathy for him? All right? When he was sending messages to that girl and she was telling her that all he wanted was her to be his Coretta, and he didn't want her to go out to the club, and all he wanted was her to be more like Coretta, and because they had their issues and they little scuffle or whatever they had, he started saying he was going to delete himself. And I bet everybody who making all of these psychologists, analytical thesis and summaries for why Hallie did it, I bet you there ain't not one person who made all of these excuses for him when he was doing it. Ain't not one person said, poor Jonathan, because I even seen people say, well, she didn't have her mom at that time, and, this is her first boyfriend, and this is this reason, and da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, was y'all that sympathetic for him when he was struggling, when she didn't want to be Coretta, and he wanted to delete himself because she wanted to go party and do all of the things, and when he was literally running away from her, he got called an abuser. Keke Palmer, and mind you, there's allegations that Hallie put her hands on DDG, as well as DDG made the allegation too. Hallie is only the victim, even though he put allegations, the same allegations or whatever. Hallie is, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't. Who deleted that? Oh, what did it say? Oh, he trolling. Marcus is trolling y'all. Not y'all calling him Jonathan Luther King. But no, for real. For real. Like, let me go to StreamYard. Because Trump. What y'all doing on this Friday night? Did y'all hit the like button? Because again, we cooling it. I feel like I don't know what I feel like. But I feel like pissing y'all off when I don't agree with women be so funny because y'all legit be so mad. Like, people legit be so mad about it. F her. She's male identified. I'm never watching her channel again. It's like, oh, okay. It's like, okay. You going out, you cooking. Jonathan was such a menace. Even the people at the white college were scared. Ciao. What? You just woke up? Robin says, Nick, do I think the latest Jane Doe is a victim or complicit? I don't know. Jazzy said I was not gonna be triggered. I feel you, girl. Don't trigger yourself. We do not want you triggered out here in these streets. We do not want you triggered out here in these streets. I really don't know. I feel like, she has not, or they have not brung up the fact if, you know, he put his hands on her, and she was well into adulthood and already a mom when she started. So I don't know. I shit. I think that she got turned out, and I feel like she probably did have a breaking point, but I think that he knew how to bait the women. So I think he knew how to bait them in and get them where he wanted. He realized, he pop a pill in their mouth. He get them to a certain level, bait them, hook them in, and then he went overboard. So although I feel like she was with it, I feel like he went overboard in every situation. He went absolutely overboard in every situation. Like getting stinky men off the streets to make women sleep with them and make them have to, and obviously he didn't make them, you know what I mean? But put them in a situation where, he went overboard in every situation. Like it's one thing to live out certain things with your partner, and it's another thing to just take it all the way too far. He took every situation too far, I believe. I was talking about Hallie and the fact that um the topic that I was talking about was Halle Bailey and DDG, and how women are only making excuses for her and not holding her accountable for the toxic relationship that both of them played a part in. I believe that both of them were absolutely toxic, and she contributed, he contributed, and both of them had no business creating a baby together under the situation that already she was mentally disturbed and going crazy and pulling out knives and doing all that, and then he was entertaining others and in and out of the relationship. I feel like both of them had an environment where they played a role in a toxic situation, but women are making all the excuses that they will not, cannot make for anybody else. It's always a woman is a victim every single time. She's 100% a victim. She has no accountability. She has no fault in it. A man is a narcissist. Everything is his fault. Even if the woman has issues before and she has problems before, those is his fault too. She had issues before, it's his fault because she had issues. It's his fault that she reacted this way. It's his, like, there's accountability on both sides. So that's what I was originally talking about. And then we started talking about, somebody asked me about Diddy. So what's up? What's up?
Hey, girlie, okay. I'm glad you caught me up because I was like, wait, what? Sticky man off the street and
Oh
Jonathan
yeah, that
Luther
was the Diddy
King. I'm like,
stuff.
what's going on here? But no, it's interesting that what you were talking about as far as accountability go, because I was just talking to my homeboy about this because he's having issues dating. Even though on paper he looks real good and all of that, and they just saying like the same thing you're saying. Like a lot of times there are some, not all, emphasis on some, not all, women that feel like the mantra of man bad, woman good is always what it is. Like everything in a woman's life, every problem she ever has is a man's fault, and she contributes nothing to it at all. So yeah, I dig what you're saying.
Yeah, that's my
There
only
are.
thing. It's like both of them contributed to that. Like if a man gets in a situation and a woman is not answering the phone, or they entertaining others, and the man is out there like, I'm gonna kill myself. There would literally be nobody making excuses for him at all. They would be telling her he's dangerous, get a restraining order, he's gonna unalive you, all of those things.
Yeah, he crazy.
They would
Like, why
not
would
be
he?
saying it's
Why
her
would he
fault.
do that? Why
It's
would
her
he want to
fault.
off
She the
himself?
reason.
Right.
They would be saying his behavior is absolutely unacceptable regardless of the cheating. Anytime a man reacts to a woman cheating and he has an adverse reaction to it, the sentiment in the majority is always, he has no right to act in that manner at all.
Yeah, it's interesting you saying that because it is Men's Mental Health Month, and it's kind of taps into that. Like, why are men not allowed to be human? You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
want to be. I don't want to be like. Yeah.
Ow, ow, my
Somebody
ears.
got
What happened?
background noise.
My ears, my ears.
Oh,
Okay,
it's
you
this.
don't
I
want
don't
to
want to
what?
be like everyone to see me though.
Oh, okay. I
Oh,
thought you wanted to see. Okay, go ahead.
Just you. You can only see me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So what's the question?
Just about the whole Hallie thing. Like, what you think?
Okay, well, I think it is a double standard. I feel like, yeah, you have some key points. I don't agree with none of it because it is just a crazy mess. At the end of the day, men are built different than women and vice versa. So I feel like the emotional stuff that women go through and men are different. I do like hold men to a higher standard when it comes to certain stuff. Just because there we like all our life we're taught, well, I was, to like respect men and like they're have a lot on their plate, a lot of stuff they go through on a daily basis and stuff like that. But I just feel like at the end of the day, we're not going to ever look at it as like, oh, if a man do the same thing, like it's going to be equal to what she did, because all our life it has been a double standard. And so yeah, we're looking at it different because that's what I was taught all my life. It's a double standard, and that's just how it is, and that's just how it's gonna be, you know. So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, so I don't
yeah,
agree. I definitely think obviously we grow up with biases and we grow up with certain double standards, but when it comes to self-harm, I'm not making an excuse for a woman and I'm not making an excuse for a man. If you emotionally unstable, if you a man or a woman, you need to get help for that, and I'm not excusing it
right,
at all.
right, 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 right.
Yeah,
And that's
okay.
another, and
I
that's a
do
big
feel
part of it too. Like I was
I
a little
do
boy
feel
before, and as a little boy, I was taught to not be human. Stop crying, stop being a punk, stop doing this. And as little boys, we've been taught to suppress so many of our emotions and told that if we're sensitive, we're weak, and we being little punks and all of that stuff too. So that's why a lot of times when we get older and we deal with and we come across emotional experiences, we don't know how to handle it because we've always been taught to not deal with our emotions.
yeah, I do feel like it's important for a man to deal with his emotions and get that out. And I have a son, so I would want my son to know, like, if you're going through something, it's okay. Like I have not ever told my son like don't cry or don't express yourself, because I wouldn't want my son to be mentally unstable by hearing something like that. I want my son to feel love, and I want him to know he could express himself the way that he wants to, as long as it's like respectful and not harming himself or nothing like that. I want him to be able to talk to me and cry when he wants to and get stuff out. I wouldn't ever want my son to hold anything like that in. Now, this generation, I do feel like we're kind of getting better in raising our
I
teens. I
think
would
you
hope
keep covering
so.
up the
When
mic.
it comes when it comes to stuff like that, I would hope that we're getting better on letting our children know that it's okay to express themselves, and it's okay to cry, and it's okay to feel how you feel, and work through those types of issues, and let them know that they're able to get through that without like destroying or killing or shooting their girlfriend or committing other things, harmful stuff to themselves. So yeah, I want to instill that in my children, because I have sons and daughters. So yeah, I want everyone my son to like cover up or tell him he can cry. That's like an uneducated mother that would tell their kid something like that, and that's how they were raised. But I feel like now, or hopefully now, that we're able to really let our children know that they could express themselves and it's okay to cry. They don't have to hold none of that stuff in. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that it sounds, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, people say that, but then they toughen up, son, because they don't want their
No,
son to be
no,
no punk.
no, no. I wouldn't ever want to call my son a punk neither. I feel that's disrespectful. And I just feel like if a lot of people lead like on what the Lord want for you to raise your kids and the stuff that's in the Bible, if you go based on that as best as you can, I feel like you have a whole different outlook on life and the things that are acceptable for you to even tell your kids or, do around them and stuff like that. Like, that's what it all boils down to also, you know, really. Cause it's like I don't know. I didn't see some crazy stuff, So yeah, I ain't gonna go on too much on that though. For real.
I just feel like, yeah, guys are more stronger as far as certain things, but I feel like, as far as like, obviously they're physically built stronger, but mentally they be weaker than women. They can't handle most of what we handle. That's why they emotionally fragile in a lot of ways. So to be unrealistic and think that only the woman is the only one, like, nah, I just don't look at the DDG and Halle thing the same. People, and a lot of people feel as though because, she, they want to coddle that. But no, for these motherfuckers got issues. Shit.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, Nick, is that the reason why so many of us men do seem like we're emotionally unintelligent and emotionally weak and can't deal with things is because from small boys we've been taught to suppress and bottle things in and told that means that's what being a man is about. That, and it's dangerous but necessary at the same time. And I know that's contradictory, but that's the best that I can explain it. But yeah, it is very dangerous.
Also, too, they think that when they have children, and this was my thought as well, and my family, I'm like, it's my baby. I carry my, I always would get corrected. It's y'all baby. It's y'all baby. You know what I mean? Because I'd be like, it's my baby. I carry my baby. And feel like, at that point, I have more of a parental role than her dad did. Not saying that I wanted to strip him from being a father, but naturally a lot of women feel as though, oh, well, she, because her thing was she felt like DDG should watch or should be around their kids a couple of hours out of the day, and that's what she wanted. And people were like, well, she was giving him a couple of hours, but it's like, but she can go and have him when she want him, but she could designate a couple of hours because they had a situation where she's been just as toxic as he was, doing toxic things as well, but she's not limited to a couple of hours with the baby because that's her baby. And a lot of people agree with that. They're like, oh, well, she was giving him hours. And I'm like, go from having your baby full time to somebody telling you, here's a couple of hours. Be happy with that. Let that be a father, and they tell her, oh, here, you could just get the baby a couple hours after you done had your baby full time. They would flip their lid. They would flip their lid.
It all goes back to like how that person was raised at the end of the day. Like you said earlier, like the things your mom instilled in you, like that comes from like them thinking that way and seeing stuff like that, and then like other people not holding them accountable, and they just feel like that's the way it's supposed to go, and that's the thinking that, a lot of us, have to, change over time. I will hope that it would get better, because that type of thinking, I don't agree with that, Yeah.
But that's the definitely not with a lot of the Halle stuff. They're like, well, she was trying to get work with him. It's like, yeah, she was offering him hours.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's like a person that's like, not really.
Is that really working with him, or is that controlling what you feel?
The situation,
that's
right.
Control. But they don't, nobody holding her accountable and showing that she's trying to control the buck. It's, Well, the baby was, at first it was, the baby was sick and he had broncholi or whatever they both supposed to had. I forget what it's called. They were like,
bronchitis. Well, I don't know.
I don't remember. It was something B something. It wasn't bronchitis. It was something else with a B. But they were like, when she, it's okay that she keeps the baby from him. They're both sick. But it's like, just because the baby's sick don't mean that his duty as a father stops.
Right. I agree. Yeah, like I would want my kids to be around their father, if I was in the household as much as possible. I feel like that's definitely important, and kids, that does like affect your kids, like growing up and stuff like that, their personality and stuff like that. I was thankful to have both my parents around, raising all 6 of my brothers and sisters, but my dad also, he's from Trinidad. So he was like built different, not to say it's anything wrong with anybody else, but growing up, it was like a lot of stuff was different for me. Other than like my friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Now this is something I want to throw out there, just an idea, but the whole idea that I had just right now, listening to y'all talk about this, is her public image may not be really who she is. She behind closed doors, she could be a whole different person.
Well, we see that already.
Right.
Just like people behind closed doors, you're different too. You know what I'm saying? Like behind closed doors, I'm sure, you're not going to be the same way as you are in public or with whoever, you know what I'm saying, you with. Everybody is basically, this is a show. Everybody is like acting in a way when it comes to certain situations. So yeah, was I shocked to hear all that? Of course, because you look at her, you don't hear stuff like that. But then at the end of the day, yeah, you got to know she's not going to be the same way in public as she is on the big screen or whatever, however you want to say it. That's for everybody though, not just her, you too.
Right.
Yeah, not me. I'm exactly the same. But a lot of people do have a different public image than they have a.
With your man, meet you the same way as you are with your homegirls?
That's a different. You talking about her public image versus her personal image. I'm not talking about how I am with a man.
Well, yeah. So how she is with DDG?
He was making a point about who people think she is publicly. Not who she is with a man. He was talking about her overall
overall public image, yeah. Like the whole narrative that most people have is that if you work for Disney, then clearly you're family friendly, your kids safe, and all of that type of stuff.
Disney is effed up more than the regular kids. So I thought I took the question the wrong way. But most definitely, I feel like, but that's child actors. Child actors, you hear about them in all types of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, you feel me? Them kids be effed up. Them kids be effed up,
said, what did they say? Where's that comment go? She said, also, she claims she has recent messages showing her lawyer trying to set up times for DDG, and he doesn't want it, and that's within the last 3 weeks. What she's talking about is when she said her lawyer offered him to have supervised visitation with his son for a couple of hours. That, to a father who had been having full time with their son, is insulting. If you go and somebody says, hey, you can visit with your baby, but you have to be supervised. It can't be your family. I don't want your mom to supervise it. I don't want your family to supervise it. We have to get somebody to supervise you with your baby, and you can only do it for a couple of hours because me and you got into it. I don't want you to be alone with your child.
Right. That sounds like spite.
That's something that somebody's going to have a negative reaction. You guys are acting like her proposal to him was one that was something that he was supposed to be running for the hills. Like, no, he got a lawyer and he filed a petition. Now, I'm not saying that give him the right to go a long period of time without seeing his kid, but to offer and say that you offering me visitation time, but it's on your terms where I have to have supervision and it's only for a couple of hours, y'all acting like that's like she gave him a good parenting plan, and she been offering him time, and he declined it. And nah, come on now, that's not.
Yeah, that sounds like the cliche, good old fashioned cliche of, since I'm mad at you and I can't hurt you the way I want to hurt you, I'm gonna use this baby to hurt you. That's what what that reminds me of, that old cliche.
Yeah, for sure, she hurt, and it comes a lot when it comes to that situation. So I do feel like she is a little overboard when it comes to stuff. I don't agree with that. So yeah.
You said you're not saying that. I'm saying that. I'm saying that's what she put in her court papers. That was the proposal.
I agree that he should be able to see his son whenever time permits, as much as he want. I don't feel like it should be like she holding him hostage in a way, bargaining. That's what a lot of women do. I don't agree with that. So yeah, I feel like he is a good father from what I've seen. I don't know him personally. I know that he has a lot of stuff on his back.
How old is the baby?
Like 2, right?
Oh, so yeah, okay. So he's not so. Because the reason I asked that, like, I can see if it was a small baby and she was still latched on to that part. But no, the baby is old enough.
He was around the baby when the baby was first born by himself, taking care of the baby. So
right,
that's
what
not
I'm saying. That's why I said earlier, it sounds like spite, because how all of a sudden you're asking for supervised visits and all of that, and usually that only comes if you have a probable cause to like it feel like the baby will be in danger or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jazzy, send me the messages. I didn't see those. Another topic that's being brought up is she said he would decline the days and then get on stream and say he missed him and that Holly wouldn't give him to DDG. I thought that was after the whole sick thing where she said he had to wait until he was not sick and then he could go. Like, if we're gonna bring up that situation, I feel like the whole context got to be talked about, because she offered him to see him when she felt like it was time for him to see him. Like she said, he's sick right now, so you gotta wait till this time and then. So if he declined, that's them both being petty at that point, to me. And that's the thing that y'all not understanding in the dynamic, and the point that I'm making is both of them are being petty. Y'all are saying that, oh, well, she offered him time, but you're not understanding that the time that she offered and how it was offered was petty, and his reaction to it was petty too. They both were on some petty stuff. And two, people are bringing up the fact, hold on, what was the other thing that was brought up here?
How do you feel about the DDG and Holly situation? I'm just joking. All right, fine.
You said
the kid said they don't want no parts.
It was some point that I wanted to bring up. Someone says, you don't just pop up over her house unannounced. Now, I agree. I don't think that he should just pop up over her house unannounced, but are you keeping the same energy about her putting air tags in his stuff and popping up unannounced where he is?
No, they not. They gon', it all comes back to the double standard thing. They're not gonna ever feel like that.
Because he said that she put air tags before he popped up at her house unannounced. His claim and allegation is that she had prior to that been putting air tags in his belongings and popped up when he was out with a female and popped up with the smoke.
Damn.
That's
man, bad, woman, good.
That's what the allegation was. So she popped up unannounced on him. Isn't that also wild? Both of them, that's what I'm saying. If we're going to talk about either party, it has to be both. Like the title or the sentiment has to be both. It can't be, well, he did, she did. I feel like it has to be both. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I don't agree with none of it. Yeah, I'm not taking Holly's side. I'm not taking DDG's side. There's I just feel like men and women do go through stuff like this. This is stuff that I have seen before. That's not no excuse for like, oh, it's right. You know what I'm saying? No, she wrong for saying what she said. And I do feel like when people say like, oh, I'm gonna off myself because of my dude left or he cheating. But you do have those circumstances also where people actually go through stuff like that, like actually go through it offing themselves. So it goes both ways, you know, like I don't know her state of mind. I don't know if she was doing it for manipulation or not, you know, because it's some people that do go through with stuff like that. So, you know, do I feel like, you know, it should have been said? No. Do I feel like that's an unstable mindset at the time? Yeah. Somebody you know, and I'm just, and you know, period.
Somebody said, how do you know what he said was even true? How do we know what she said was even true? We going off of allegations. How can we say one person's allegation is more of merit than the other? If we're going to take allegation for allegation at face value, that's all we got to go off of is allegation per allegation. I'm not going to say her allegation is more valid. What makes her allegation more valid?
Yeah, they both wrong.
Man bad,
you know, they
woman
both
good.
Stuff together, you know, and hopefully they use this as a growing situation. I also, you know, I prayed and asked the Lord yesterday for strength for DDG, to keep him strong, to keep him motivated, to keep going, you know, and for both of them to come to an agreement and for peace over it, both of them households, over their children and stuff like that, because that's what ultimately needs to happen, you know. So, you know, I pray for the situation to get better for both of them and for both of them to be in a good mindset, in a good mind space to raise their son with respect and compassion. And I just hope that they are able to move forward from this and get through this respectfully as possible. You know what I'm saying? And just put the Lord as the center of everything and anything you do. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like things would be better if they're able to, you know, do that. You know, eventually, I know it takes time, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we don't know how he feel and how he thinking. And I don't know how she feel and how, you know, she's thinking. You know, I just pray for strength for both of them, you know, and peace, basically, you know, because this is an awful situation. I want them to be able to be good parents to their son, to be good examples, you know, of, you know, co-parenting and good relationships and stuff like that. I don't wish harm on none of them, you know, or anybody, period. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's just, you know, my prayer to the Lord for them, you know, for real, because it's just awful. Mm-hmm. It's necessary, you know, and they don't need to be going through this. Their child don't need to be going through their families. It's affecting everybody. You know what I'm saying? Even us, you know, we talking about it, you know, and it's affecting us even if you don't think it is, but it is, you know? Okay. So yeah, that's just, you know, what I want for both of them, you know, just peace, grace, mercy, understanding, compassion, forgiveness from one another, for both of them, for whatever they are harboring against each other. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it is. It's anger. It's not even that she's trying to be spiteful. She hurt. You know, she's hurt for whatever happened. Wait.
Someone says her allegations is more valid because she's the one who the judge agreed with. The judge only went on one side of the story. So no, the judge issued an order. He didn't respond to the order. So the judge basically said, well, you didn't think it was much of an emergency, so we're going to set this on calendar. That doesn't mean that what she said is more valid. It just means that they're going to still hash it out when they go to court. This isn't a situation where she put in her paperwork, the judge stamped it, and this is forever going to be the custody agreement, and she's always going to have sole custody, and she could just take Halo where she wants. No. It just means that the judge said, hey, you already have a contractual obligation. I already agreed that you can take the baby. I'm not going to now go back and take that away. I'm going to wait, and we're going to hash this out when you come back. And when they go back in front of the judge, DDG is going to tell his side of the story. He's going to show his receipts. She's going to show her receipts. Unless the baby arm broke or a danger, the judge was not going to stop her from going after he already granted her to go. Now, if DDG would have put in an emergency order and said, hey, judge, look, she broke Halo's arm and she's a danger, then the judge would have reversed the agreement that he made. he already agreed that she can go, so he wasn't going to rescind that unless it was an absolute emergency that the child could not go on something he already agreed can happen. That's what happened. It doesn't mean that her allegations were more valid. Neither one of them have physically harmed the child to where they're an actual danger to the actual child, if we're being honest. All right? They both have allegations of putting hands on one another. Both of them say he put the hands on me. He's saying she put the hands on him. So when they go to court and it gets set on a calendar, the judge is going to decide, are both of y'all unfit or either one of y'all unfit, and actually have more time to sift through the stuff and find it out. That's what that means. It doesn't mean that she's more valid. It doesn't mean that this is permanent. It doesn't mean any of that.
Man, that sounds like mutual combat, and let's not pretend that they don't have some people that's really like that. They got some women that like to fight dudes. They got some people that really believe a man don't love you if he don't put his hands on you, and sometimes you got to provoke him to do such. So we don't, like I said, we really don't know.
Baby boy.
We really don't know what's going through people's heads. We don't know these people personally. All we have is our opinions based on the public images that they portray, and
they're
that's just all of it
going
is.
to get mediation anytime. The judge, the judge is the one. He followed a mediator order, and he gonna look at it. He gonna look at what your lawyer say, what this lawyer say, but ultimately he gonna follow that guideline. And guess who's not gonna be in the room when they go in front of the mediator? Neither one of their lawyers are gonna be in the room. They gonna listen to the language that you use. If you use my, me, this, that, they're going to pay attention to that. If you use what's in the best interest, and they're trained to find out, is your argument with the other person, is it based on the best interest of the child? If she gets in there and her issue is he cheats on me and he's out of the state and he's working out of state, that's not an issue to keep him away from his child. She's working out of state too. So they're going to discern whether or not the issue that you have that's preventing the other child, the other parent to be a parent, is it something that is going to be beneficial or detrimental to the child? And do you have the child's best interest? Are you speaking in the interest of the child, or are you speaking in your personal interest? What inconvenience you? Why you're mad at the other person? Why you don't like the other person? Or why does this person, they're gonna discern those things.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's how it works.
And when they go in front of the mediator, the lawyer is the one typing up their paperwork, but the mediator is going to listen to them. They're going to see if she bitter, they're going to see if he bitter, and they're going to see if they care about the baby or they care about who hurt who in a relationship. Because a lot of that stuff come up.
Right. Who hurt who, and if that's the whole reason, like I was mentioning earlier, are you trying to use the baby to hurt each other and blah, all of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Neat.
Hey.
Don't this seem like, I don't know if you've mentioned this already, but don't this seem like Clarence and Queen Naija 2.0?
In what way?
The way they talk over, saying like Clarence wasn't doing this and that, and everything isn't played out in the media. To me, I feel like...
Not really. I don't think it's the same situation.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the way they were talking about the children and stuff. So I don't know. I really didn't follow them much. I followed what you posted and, the stuff during the pandemic. So other than that, my thing is this. They could mess around and both of them lose custody. If they feel like that the child is a danger in both of their hands, him fighting and her threatening to delete herself. So really, truly, they both need to get themselves under control.
Right, for sure.
Because I have seen that happen.
And I think a lot of the take is based on if the person likes DDG or not. There's a lot of people who feel like because they didn't know who DDG was before she got with him, they feel like he's less than, he didn't deserve her anyways. And so any little thing that they find out was not a perfect fairy tale, they hold it against him for her going what they feel is below her standard. But a lot of times people don't realize just because you're an A-list celebrity does not mean that you're better than this person or that person. You might be an A-list celebrity in the public eye, but another person that's A-list celebrity might not think that you meet their standard because you on this level. And the person that you feel like is beneath her, they right here neck and neck on the same type of level mentally, you know? So, I don't know.
My thing is, why won't they get this case sealed? Didn't you say the other day that they could have it sealed?
Yeah, they definitely can request for it to be sealed.
It just seems like they want everybody to know.
Yeah, they could request for it to be sealed. Now, in LA County, is different than where I live. I live outside of LA. My county, everything is automatically sealed when you're not married. LA County, you have to personally request for it to be sealed and give good reason.
Oh, they not married? I thought they was all talking about, oh, they married. I thought that was the whole comeback to everybody saying she was just another baby mama, was that they got married. I didn't know they wasn't married.
No, they're not married.
They're not. I never thought they were married.
Boel says if she's threatening to harm herself and the baby, she needs supervised visits. I don't think she actually was ever saying she was going to harm the baby, but I get what you're saying.
I do agree with you that she was using that as a control.
Definitely.
Yeah, of course.
She was using it and he fell for it.
Yeah.
Because the first time she would have had a knife, that'd have been it.
Somebody said, I like DDG until he got caught lying about not knowing Halo was walking. Y'all are petty. Y'all be holding grudges, child.
Didn't know Halo was what?
Walking. They be holding grudges.
And his mama was the one that helped him walk.
You said, then why didn't he put that girl on papers if she was being toxic and self-deleting? Because a lot of men are lazy when it comes to court. They feel like they're not. A majority of the men have to be forced by their mama, grandmama, auntie, sister, and cousin to file in paperwork because y'all think that
so
they
true.
less of a man if they take action or if they go to the courts. They're viewed as less than, and that's some punk B shit. You know, that's how people look at it. You trying to take that girl,
true.
baby. That's why a lot of men don't. Like, you literally have to curse out if you don't go to that damn court, you know what I mean? You literally gotta curse out men to do the right thing about that.
And a lot of times men already think that the courts are stacked against them. They already have that preconceived notion, so that deters a lot of men from going to the courts as well.
Nick, read I just sent you.
Yeah, you can say that.
So
out loud.
you the only one could see me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna make some fish for these kids real quick. I'm gonna put this fish in the oven real quick.
Oh, okay, you can turn your camera off if you want to.
No, I love you.
Oh, okay. The people backstage can see you, but not the audience.
The live stream, not the live stream.
You can see me? Oh yeah, no. I'm gonna go down.
I see you. No, I'm just playing.
But Nick, I've heard of attorneys tell the men do not put themselves on child support.
I mean, if you want to see your baby, you could go to the court. You don't got to put yourself on child support. But if you go down to the court, the baby mama gonna put you on child support. Period.
They have just as much rights as she has.
And that's what a lot of men don't understand and don't know, that men have
you
rights.
A little low. Right. Ivy, click the link. I want to hear from Ivy.
You're in the show. Everyone can see me. Hello, Neek.
Yeah, I can hear you. Ivy, come up. Come up. I want to hear from Ivy because Ivy is a girl's girl, so I know she don't agree with me probably on this. So I definitely want to hear from Ivy because Ivy is a true through and through girl's girl. Britt, go ahead. Britt, see, hello. I don't know what's happening. Somebody smacking in the background.
Oh my, my bad.
I'm like, you over there, somebody smacking real good. But yeah, so what else do y'all want to talk about? Y'all over talking about them. I'm just kicking it on a Friday night. Friday. You wanted to put yourself on child support. It's documented. Giving cash is a big no-no, right?
Everything you buy for the child outside of the courts is considered a gift.
Absolutely. The court is the best move you can ever do. As a man myself, as a man that got custody of my son.
They don't have to see you. They just gonna hear you. You can multitask. It's gonna be like you talking on the phone with one of your homegirls.
Hello?
Hey, hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. You just
Yeah, we go ahead.
Okay, so my take on the whole situation, I'm not gonna say I'm taking GDG side or I'm taking Haley's side because I don't know the full extent of everything. But my thing is I feel like they are both trying to co-parent, but they being immature and people.
Go ahead. You cut out again. Britt, girl, what's happening? I don't know what's going on with Britt. Let's see what's going on with the blogs. Y'all got sympathy for Jonathan Majors yet or no? Still no?
What's going on with Jonathan Majors?
Nothing. I was just trolling with that. Just kidding. Just kidding. Malcolm X's daughter. What? Oh, they just threw a random throwback up there. Hold on, I'm looking through the blogs to see what we talking about next. What is that? Oh my goodness. This says, hold on. This is horrible. Okay, it says Ohio newborn falls out of crib in the NICU and dies after the nurse forgot the monitor card was in her pocket and walked off, and the baby suffered a fractured skull. Can you imagine? Oh my God, that sounds so horrible. So horrible, so horrible. What else is on the blogs? Let's see what this is. He's cheating but pays my car note, rent, and gets my dogs done every other week. Okay, so I guess she's okay with a man cheating. And Clarissa Shields says, all men don't cheat. My man don't. Girl, saying a married man ain't a cheater is funny work. Let's see what else going on. Y'all be watching Real Housewives of Atlanta? Apparently, this girl, Britt Eady, filed a $20 million lawsuit. I don't watch the show, so I don't really have much to say about it. Elon Musk and Trump is beefing. What y'all think about that? That was a, hold on. Hello? Yeah, I called you earlier, but I'm on live now. Girl, what do you want? Hold on. Go ahead.
Hey guys, how are y'all doing?
You bored? What you want?
Cause you called me and I was trying to see why you called me, so I called you back.
Oh, because your dad didn't see you right after school.
I was getting lunch.
Oh, yeah, he called me, so I called you.
Oh, well, bye.
Girl, bye. Tell people bye.
Bye, people.
Bye. That's my daughter. She with her dad. And y'all know it's a free weekend. Cheers to the freaking weekend. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, so yeah, Trump and Elon is beefing. What else?
Court heard our.
A lot of people had a lot to say about this. What y'all think about this situation right here? It says, Supreme Court sides with a straight Ohio woman after her claims of revenge discrimination. Says her boss overlooked her for a promotion because she's not gay. What y'all think about this? Listen to the situation.
Arguments today in the case of a woman who claims she was a victim of reverse discrimination.
The key question for the court is whether someone who is not a member of a minority group faces an extra hurdle to prove discrimination. Chief Legal Correspondent Jan Crawford talked to the woman who brought the case.
They put a 25-year-old man with less than 3 years of service in our agency to do my job that I had successfully done for over 5 years.
That amounted to discrimination because you believe he got the job because he was gay and you're straight.
Correct.
Marlene Ames was working for the Ohio Department of Youth Services when a position opened up as bureau chief.
And then you decided to put in for a promotion.
Yes. My supervisor at the time asked if I was going to apply.
But just a few days after she got her 30-year service pin, Ames found out instead of a promotion, she was being demoted to a secretary.
It was humiliating going to work every day.
Humiliating?
Yes.
They cut your salary almost in half.
Yes, $40,000. So of course I went into a panic over that.
The colleague who replaced her was gay, and shortly afterward, the promotion went to a woman who was also gay.
Thought, okay, well, there's something more at play here.
Ames decided to sue for discrimination based on her sexual orientation as a straight woman.
I knew the law was against us. Took the case.
I bet that's a plot twist. Y'all didn't expect that her attorney was gonna be a black man. Plot twist, plot twist.
Anyway,
Akron lawyer Edward Gilbert knew it was a tough fight because federal courts in Ohio, like those in about a third of the country, require people filing suit to jump through another hoop by proving, for example, a pattern of historical discrimination, a burden non-minority groups can't always show. But some civil rights advocates are siding against Ames.
Discrimination is not a relic of the past.
Alexis Johnson is an attorney with the Legal Defense Fund and says while the law applies to everyone, it originally was passed to protect black people and other minority groups, and evidence of historical discrimination is important.
Black people, LGBTQ plus people report much higher rates of discrimination in the workplace than other groups.
All right, so it says, Marlene Ames claims that the Civil Rights Act was violated while she worked for the Ohio Department of Youth Services. She's accusing her gay boss of giving promotions to 2 gay candidates instead of her. She claims she was first skipped over for a promotion in favor of a gay woman and then replaced by a gay man after being demoted. Ames says her original filing was thrown out because she failed to meet specific background circumstances, and she's part of a majority group. The failure to meet the background circumstances basically means there is not much evidence supporting the idea that white heterosexual people are discriminated against. While we have a long history of statistics that prove black and LGBTQ plus people are discriminated against, Ames argued that the burden for her to put forth more evidence proving her employer discriminates against the majority was unfair, and the Supreme Court agreed. They decided to toss out the original ruling made by the Federal Appeals Court, which was that the promotions received due to a legitimate, non-discriminatory business reason. This does not mean that Ames won her reverse discrimination lawsuit, but it gives her the chance to retry the case. This decision is tricky because it opens the floodgates for more cases that claim reverse discrimination. What are your thoughts? So that is what it says right here. It says that, she's discriminated against, and they feel as though if this goes through, then it will happen with a lot more people that are of the majority. What else? What do you think about that, Timotheus?
Oh, I know I was still on. No, I just think that they're I actually in a group I'm in earlier, we were talking about this yesterday when they actually talked about it, and how there was I was the devil's advocate, as I always am, but there was a group of people saying, how is it discrimination when they're the majority? So how can you discriminate against somebody that's already majority? Like, it's enough of y'all, Eric, I'm quoting them, there's enough of y'all.
Oh no, my face reaction, because I was looking at the headline of another story, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just saying, like, yeah, I'm quoting them. Like, their argument is like, you're the majority, it's enough of y'all in high places and all of this, that, and the other. Why is it that if somebody give a minority group something, it has to be reverse racism, reverse discrimination, and all of that? And my position is that they're just following the same civil rights law that they did, the Civil Rights Act that they put in place to give, well, us black people feel like it was for us, but the way it's written, it's for everybody. It's literally written that you cannot discriminate against anybody based on sex, race, nationality, or religious belief, so that's everybody. So if anybody feels like they're discriminated against, they can use the Civil Rights Act to say, hey, I feel like this law is being violated. Now, other than that, is what it is. There are some people that feel like I was saying, the people I was talking to, like, how is it racism against them when they the majority?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are you one of them people that feel like black people can't be racist?
No.
Okay, I'm glad you smart.
No, I do not think that. I feel like the people who think that are racist. All right, so this is disgusting. It says 62-year-old Florida man arrested after violating and assaulting an 8-year-old boy and giving him HIV.
That's terrible.
That is like, you deserve to be in HE double hockey sticks. Like, you deserve to not even be, like, them cock eyes should not have made it to a mugshot. Like, you sick.
Yeah, that's sick. Now, I'm mad. We can talk about something else, because that's just horrible. Like, I don't like, what even motivates you to even, like, come on, man, it's utter disgust.
Okay, I just read the
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. I was about to turn my camera on, but I don't want ugly.
Now listen to this. This is what you call a deadbeat.
Ooh, this is my alley. Go ahead, play it.
This is what you call a deadbeat.
Final question before we wrap it up. I saw something floating around.
I can't hear him on the stream,
something about your daughter, potential daughter.
That is my daughter.
Okay, I want you to touch on that, because I wanted you to speak on it from your perspective.
I don't hear
outside of just what's going.
Oh, hold on. He want to be a part of the party. He want to hear. Hold on, one second. I want to to hear.
Going on in the world.
Well, I would say, not to go too deep, because that's
for sure. Question before we wrap it up. I saw something floating around, something about your daughter, potential daughter.
That is my daughter.
Okay, I want you to touch on that because I wanted you to speak on it from your perspective outside of just what's going on in the world.
Well, I would say, not to go too deep, because that's
for sure.
But I would say, my situation is the perfect situation that young black men or any black man will find yourself in when you don't practice sexual discipline. Because see, when my daughter was born, I was happy to be a father and I was ready to be one. But I was told that if I didn't marry the mother, I wouldn't be allowed to be. You see?
I went through that.
Yes, that was a pregnancy for marriage. It had nothing to do with me not wanting my child. I was ready, I was hyped, I was happy. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I said.
So if you was ready, you was hyped, then what happened? You were a proud dad, right? You did what you needed to do to be in your child's life, and you raised your child, and you did the best of the best to provide for them because you wanted to be a dad. That's what you about to say? Let's listen. Y'all think that's what he about to say?
I want this baby if you're gonna let me be a father. I said, I don't wanna be going to no child support, and I don't wanna be going to no damn family court. And lo and behold, the very things I asked not to be subjected to, she subjected me to them.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so, according to my daughter's narrative, her mother didn't share the truth with her.
So why didn't you, why was there a narrative that the mama could tell her that you couldn't tell? So wait. You wanted to be a father so bad, and you were ready to be a father, and you agreed to be a dad. But there was one caveat that she can't go to the court and she can't put you on child support. And because she went to the court and she put you on child support, then your daughter told you when she was an adult the narrative.
Her mother didn't tell her the real reason why I kept you from your father. And that was because I didn't marry her.
That's deep.
Damn.
So with that being said, I'm looking forward to building that relationship with my child. I'm patient with her because I know it can be tough to have one parent tell you, this is why your daddy wasn't dead. And then for you to find out from your father, that ain't the reason I wasn't dead.
That's not it.
She's the reason I wasn't dead.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I know she's hurting because she love her mom. She loyal to her mom, right?
Yeah.
And I think she's ambivalent and conflicted because I think she feels like if I try to build a relationship with my father,
It's going to affect.
is my mother going to feel some type of way? One thing you should never do is make your child choose sides.
Yes.
This is manipulation 101. Instead of taking accountability, I'm going to blame everything on the mom. Now, I don't care if that was y'all agreement that she don't go to the court. You agreed to be a father. So be a father and do what's necessary for your child. Just because she went to the court, you made the agreement to bring that child in this world. And so it was your duty to be in that child's life. You didn't lead with the fact of the mom knew my position, even though it takes two to tango. You didn't even lead with the BS excuse that people use and say, she knew I didn't want to be a dad. You said you agreed that you wanted to be a dad. You wanted to be a dad, and that was your agreement. Y'all had a baby, and once you had a baby, she went to the court. But so because she went to the court, then it's her fault that you wasn't a dad, when if you actually wanted to be a dad, whether she went to the court or not, you would have did what you were supposed to do. You didn't have no intentions on really being a dad, and that's probably really the real reason why she went to court in the first place, because if you was being a dad and y'all was in such of agreement, then why is not this story elaborated a little more, and it's not just, oh, she went to court? Why she go to the court?
My whole thing is not even the fact that she went to court. It's the fact that she went to court is the final excuse. And I get called simp and stuff. They're gonna probably call me simp in the audience for what I'm about to say. The same way that she went to the court, he could have went to the court too. There is talking about she kept the baby away from me. Lie. Go to the court and you can file a modification. And when you file that modification, you can establish your custody. And unless the baby was old enough at the time to say, I don't want to see my daddy, guess what? You would have gotten visitation rights to see that little girl. So there's the only excuse that you're making is just excuse, just to say, like you said, not to take accountability. Because the court, unless that mother could have proven that he was a detriment to the safety of the child, they would have given that man some type of visitation or joint custody or something.
Right. And then my whole thing with him, he always brag about being the top scholar, the most requested, the most educated. Why weren't you educated enough to stick your Peter in the hole of a woman that you wanted to marry and not have no D-control and just willy-nilly spreading your seed with somebody that you had no intentions on marrying? But you got all this intellect and everything like that. I'm not understanding that. Let me drop the link in the chat if there's anybody else who wants to chime in on that. What y'all think about Umar stating that he was not in his daughter's life because the mom decided to take it to the court? Now, I don't want to bring up Hallie again, but let's say Hallie, like she did, went to court, filed her paper, and got sole temporary, because her order is temporary, custody. If DDG never responded to the order, y'all will be calling him a deadbeat. As you should if he would have took the Umar approach. But people are acting like he's so wrong for responding to the thing and fighting back. That's not how it works. If you really want to be in your child's life, you need to fight back. But Hallie's fans, they will say, oh, he's only filing these papers to embarrass her. No, this is what you do if you want to be in your child's life, like it or not. You fight back to what they fighting about. If you really want to be in your child's life and you go through the necessary steps that's needed to facilitate a relationship with your child, regardless of what anybody thinks or feels. I don't care if you feel like this humiliates her. She throwing dirt on my name, I'm throwing dirt on hers, because we both fighting for the rights to this baby. But, you know, Umar is definitely the ultimate. He puts the D in deadbeat. And anybody who makes excuses for Umar is a degenerate.
That is not their business. Black parents got to stop making our sons and daughters choose who you going to be with, because that's the situation my daughter is in. I know she wants me. You feel me? I know it. But if I reach out to my father and come back home happy.
Yeah.
Hi, mama.
Why does your child have to reach out to you when that's your child? Reach out to your child and facilitate a relationship. Therefore, there cannot be anybody to manipulate how that child feel about you, because you're there to show them what's real.
How gonna feel?
Her mama gonna feel. She gonna feel like she betrayed her mother.
Yeah.
Why should a child feel like I betrayed my mother just to build a relationship with my father and I'm a grown woman?
Why should you care about how she gonna feel about the betrayal of her mama when you need to worry about facilitating and not being betrayed and being a deadbeat?
Because you said you got receipts.
But guess what? I'm not gonna blame the mom. As a man, I'm gonna blame me. Ooh. I should have been more sexually disciplined back then.
That's a fact.
After blaming the mama first.
Listen, instead of I should have did what I needed to do to be in my child's life, I'ma blame me. And an idiot will say that was accountability. That's not an accountability.
I'm just laughing because after he blamed the mama, he was like, you know what? It was it was really bad.
But the reason why he said it was him, because he said, I should have had self-discipline. No, you should have been in your child life and did what it took to be in your child life. You agreed that you wanted the baby.
No, that's the realest spill. It don't matter who the child popped out from, whether it was someone you found to be desirable as a mate or not. At the end of the day, that baby is here. That baby didn't ask to be here. You did the hanky-panky to bring that baby here. Therefore, it was your responsibility.
And not only did you do the hanky-panky, you agreed for the baby to be. I agreed to be a father. You agreed on this baby, and you need to take the responsibility for the baby.
Right. And again, his condition was not to be put on paperwork. So him being put on paperwork forfeited the agreement on him being a father. And to me, that's just the excuse of all excuses. Because the same way, like I said earlier, same way that mom filed paperwork, he could have went down there and filed for a modification and been very much involved with that baby's life.
Mm-hmm. You understand? I created the situation. If I didn't impregnate that woman, she could have never done that to me. So if
you would have handled your business and did what you're supposed to do and go down to the court and respond to them papers, you so smart, you don't know how to file a paper? You got all of these degrees. And they over there sitting like he just saying the most profound spoken word known to man.
At the end of the day, we as men have to take responsibility because our demons, our bad decisions, our lack of sexual discipline is eroding the foundation of our community. These women who we're not committing to, they're teaching our kids to hate us.
True.
And that's our fault. What they doing is wrong. But if we never sowed the seed in the first place, we could have never gave them a reason to do it. And so now you got a whole generation of young black girls who hate men. Some of them going to get turned into lesbians because they've been indoctrinated by their mother, their great.
And so when was you going to indoctrinate from the father's point of view?
I'm cracking. I'm sorry to because this is funny as hell. Because it's like the whole time he's portraying and positioning and postulating as if he's being accountable, but he's still doing exactly what he said he wouldn't do. He's putting all the angst on the women. See, if we never would impregnate these women, then the women wouldn't raise them to be bad. But if you were a present father, then you would have influence on the child. So it's a two-way street, no matter how you try to spin it. But you want to spin it as if it's a one-way street, which is weak sauce.
A mess. A mess. A mess. A mess. A mess. Child, a mess. What else going on these
somebody
blogs?
Come on up. Why y'all scared to come on up, y'all? I know I look funny, but y'all making money, see.
They can't even see you. Oh, people did come up. What do you think? What is it? I do too.
Just call me Tutu.
Oh, sorry. I don't even want to butcher it. Tutu.
Real quick. Hi, Nick.
Hey.
You're low-key the reason I kind of changed my whole mindset on the whole DDG and Hallie thing. I'm not gonna lie. Like that first video, I was slightly heated, and so I did leave. But then I started looking at all the facts, and I'm like, had to like grit my teeth a little bit. But it's to the point now where I kind of am leaving. Not that it's even my situation, but I'm just blocking out everything until just like Keke Palmer. Like when Keke Palmer went back, I blocked it out. So that's kind of how I feel with DDG and Hallie. But I think the message here is like, y'all need to keep receipts. And I wish there was a class on your rights. Like people need to know their rights, because when it comes to this baby daddy or not baby daddy thing, like Dr. Umar and like people saying, oh, the mom is keeping me out of their life. Like, oh, I can't like be in the kid's life because the mom is doing all this. That is I don't want to sit there and say that's a lie, but if you fight for your child, like you can fight. Like you guys need to know your own rights. You need to keep the receipts on what's going on. Keep the receipts on how she's not letting you see him. She's not letting you participate. And then that whole thing when it's like, oh, if you put me on child support, I'm not going to be involved. I think that's completely insane. I don't know. I
think
really
it's completely insane for somebody who agreed to have the baby. Like, it's one thing, like I said, if you were Anthony Edwards and you never wanted the child ever, and you like, girl, be gone with that baby. I never wanted it in the first place. He led with, I agreed and I was happy to have a child.
Okay, I get that. Is that basketball player that is with the
No, I'm saying that's what Umar agreed to.
Oh, okay. Because I know there was that situation with that basketball player who Lil Baby's ex-baby mama.
Yeah, that's Anthony Edwards. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think that's sad because you're gonna grow up knowing your dad never wanted you. But then that comes down to why'd you NUT in her, or I don't know, like safe intercourse.
Yeah, no, it's no. I'm not giving. It's like it's no excuse for what he did, but I'm just saying at least I would understand it more if that was the sentiment with Umar. Is what I'm saying. Anthony Edwards is still a piece of
Boo-boo.
of work. Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of all I think I had to say. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh man, I don't know how I feel about the Anthony.
Brit, see?
Oh, the baby crying, so they probably walked away.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, no, okay.
Brit.
Okay, so I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm just go ahead and say it.
Okay.
My whole take on the situation is when two people immature and they have a child, sometimes you need to get the court involved because it's no other way to handle it.
Right.
DDG does not want to respect Haley as mother when she says she don't want the baby on TV and things like that. Sorry if you have baby crying on at work.
Go ahead.
If she can't go by simple things by saying like, oh, I don't want my baby on camera, and he like, oh, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, then how else can you rectify the situation?
But doesn't she also put the baby on post? So it's like, I don't want you to post the baby, but I can post the baby. See how that's problematic? See how that makes it more of a spiteful thing?
I don't know what happened.
Brit. She dropped off. She just said what she had to say and smash.
Jazz, hello.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right. Okay, I want to talk about the DDG thing.
Go ahead.
Like I was trying to tell you, the when she offered him days during the Met Gala to have the baby, he messaged and was like, "Oh no, I'll just wait till y'all come back." And
hello, Jazz. Hello.
The technical difficulties are real.
I know.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, what happened?
Oh, I went off. Well, yeah, he was like, "Oh, I'll wait until she comes back from the Met Gala," and then that same day he goes on stream and saying, "Oh, I miss Halo, and she won't let me see him." I'm like, when?
I thought the whole "she won't let me see the baby" thing happened after they had RSV and that situation.
It was during the Met Gala because he went to New York right before they went to the Met Gala.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure of the timeline. I thought that when he went on stream and it made it to all the blogs was the same incident that came out later to be the Toothgate when they were sick.
If you look on it's on Facebook, but it's on I sent the screenshot in your messages. So it was around the same time that she was supposed to go from, she offered him April 27th through May 4th to have Halo.
I'll have to look into it.
And he declined it. He said, "Oh, I'll just wait until you guys come back." And then he said, "Oh," then he went on stream or on his Instagram thing and was like, "Oh yeah, I miss Halo," and she won't let him see him. But during the time that you're talking about when he was sick, someone else mentioned in the comments that she contacted his mom and told him that he can come and get her, come and get him but then he declined it. He wanted to stay at the house with them. He wanted to be downstairs with Halo downstairs at the house, but she didn't want him there.
Mhm.
And then that's what you're probably talking about with the RSV or some type of little thing they had that he went on stream.
I don't remember that specific timeline. I know both of those situations happened close in proximity, so that's why it's like I don't remember exactly. But my whole point about it was they both being petty.
Yeah, that's not up for debate, and it's really okay. Hallie can hold the L for that because a lot of people telling her don't mess with DDG because he just like his older brother. His older brother got the same type of allegations on him from his baby mama of not physical, I guess, but like financial abuse, where he would dictate whether or not what she has, if he gave it to her. And I remember recently I just watched a video from I Am Zoe about when the baby mama, she goes online and she shows the text messages where he's like, "Oh, we can do a video together with this girl. I'm not sure what the girl is, who the girl is, because I don't really watch them like that. Um, and we can do it, and we can get this money." And she was like, "I don't want to do a video with the girl that you cheated on me with." And then right after that, that's when he's like, "Oh, well, I'll take back the car that he gave her." And it's a whole thing with DDG older brother and I guess what's the little boy name? His mama. So it's not a new thing because DDG even had allegations with Ruby Rose.
Mhm.
Of him putting his hands on her and everything like that. Of putting his hands on her with the same type of scars, but everyone dismissed it because it's Ruby Rose.
Mhm.
So there's no biasness when it comes to that because if you followed him a long time, like someone else said that he's been on a while. It's not new.
Right.
The only
Right.
difference is he got a baby with it.
Right. Yeah, his behavior is definitely not new, and the signs were always there. So.
Yeah, she can hold herself accountable for that and be blamed for that because she may not be the perfect quote unquote victim, but the facts of him being a bad person, whether or not he's a good dad, that's debatable to me as well. Because if someone's being denied a baby, you'll go put in the effort to go and get that baby back. But it wasn't until Jerry the Mouse, which is what that boy name is, he sat up there and started some rumor that Hallie was dating this guy and they was on vacation together.
You call
And
DJ Academics Jerry the Mouse?
yeah.
That's hilarious.
And it wasn't until then, with all the little drama after that. And then it just kept tumbling down more and more crap.
Mhm. All right, thank you, Jack. Oh wait, who's talking? Golden Girl.
Hey.
Oh, thank you,
So,
Jazz. Go ahead, Golden Girl.
so here's my perspective on this whole DDG situation. Aside from the abuse and all that, my thing is be fair with the visitation. Be fair with the visitation. How is it that he allowed her grace in the beginning when she was going through her separation anxiety and everything? He agreed to let her take the baby out of the country and out of the state several times. But when he wanted to do that, he couldn't. And prior caller, she definitely has her timeline messed up. You were right, Neek. The RSV situation came first.
I thought it did. I thought the RSV thing happened first.
Yes,
I'm like,
that's when he went ahead and came out on the line and started really talking about it. Because prior to that, he would just say, "Oh, I miss Halo," or I miss Halo this and that. But he never outright came out and said anything about their co-parenting situation. He never did that.
I thought that was the time of
You're
events.
right. The
I'm
RSV
like,
situation.
I
first.
thought it was the baby being sick happened first,
Yes,
and that turned out to be the tussle that we later found out about.
Exactly.
That's
You're right about that. So that's my thing. Because how is it okay for her to take the child out of the country or out of the state, but he can't? How is that fair? She's on video saying how she can't even function without having Halo on set. That's on video. So I feel like to a certain point, Hallie was definitely being manipulative and spiteful now. Because how is it okay to try to exclude the father from the baby's life? He hasn't posed a threat to Halo.
Well,
so
they said by
is that
him
fair?
putting pushing her head into the steering wheel was the threat to Halo's life.
But with that though, I feel like his side makes more sense. Because for one, why did she need to follow DDG out to her car to help him buckle the child in? He don't know how to buckle his child in? How did she get from the back seat to the front? So to me, what he said is that she tried to lunge at him from the back seat, and then her momentum pulled her forward, and she hit her face on the steering wheel, because she said he slammed her face. Slamming your face on the steering wheel, to me, by a man, that means he would have forcefully had to do that. So that don't add up.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, she followed him outside. She wanted him to talk then and there about the visitation, and he was probably like, "Look, I came to pick up my child. Let me leave with my child." She didn't have to follow him out to his vehicle and get in his vehicle. So I'm sure he was probably calling her name, saying, "B, get out my car. B, get out my car." So we got to be fair here.
Oh, it's not. They calling you all kind of pick-me's in the comments.
Oh, I know.
In their mind.
It's fine. And that's fine. But baby, I got a fiance with a daughter, so I'm no pick-me. I'm a grown woman, very grown, 40 years old. So I ain't no pick-me. Not for no 28-year-old man. But I can use logic, and I can hold another woman accountable. See, y'all getting the Little Mermaid character mixed up with Halle Bailey. Y'all don't know Halle Bailey, just like we don't know DDG. So she ain't all innocent. Be a woman and know how to hold another woman accountable, because she's not being fair. So my thing is, do 50, because and what told me something too is when she perceived him saying, "I'm going to take you for 50-50. Why is that perceived as a threat to her? To me, that's a father saying, "Look, since you don't want to be on one accord or want to let me see my child, or you want me to see my child on your terms, then hey, I'm going to take you for 50-50. Why is that perceived as a threat to her? Make it make sense.
Right.
And it could be, I'm sorry if you weren't done.
No,
I'm sorry.
that's all I say.
Yeah, I was going to say that 50-50 could be perceived as you're trying to take my baby from,
Right.
take my baby from you.
But that's their child. That's not just your baby. That's their child. See, I keep hearing women say, "Well, that's her baby." No, that's their baby. THEIR. That's their baby. She didn't lay down and make that baby by herself.
Somebody said Nick be so dry with people at times. What you want me to say? I mean, I agree with what she's saying.
No, she listening. Right. She listening. She listening.
Yeah, I agree with what she's saying.
But I ain't no pick me just because I ain't on fully side of Halle Bailey because she's a woman. Y'all want to call other women pick me because they ain't outright agreeing with Halle Bailey because y'all getting the Little Mermaid character mixed up.
It's not just a pick me. You must hate her. That's what I was told.
I don't know her to hate her.
Right.
Just like y'all don't know DDG to hate him. So how do y'all sound?
And for the people that's saying 50-50 of what, because they're not married, 50-50 is not something that's regulated only to divorce. There's such a thing called joint custody,
Exactly.
and joint custody is exactly 50-50.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
I literally got comments saying, you must hate her. I'm like, I don't hate her. I just know that I know what toxic look like. And I know that she played a role and was manipulative to get him to act how she wanted him to act or try to guilt him into spending time with her. Like, it's
And now
a
his
pattern of
mom
that.
can't watch, and now his mom can't even watch Halo. Come on now. You can't tell me she not being spiteful. Come on.
That's what I've been saying the whole
Let's be
time. It's
honest
spite.
here.
I've been saying it the whole time.
Let's be honest here. That's ridiculous. But a nanny can watch him while you work. Come on.
Right. I definitely see manipulation all through that. And I feel like, it's both. Wide trims, hello? You there? Hello. What do you think, Golden, to the people, because wide trims ain't ready and they mic is muted. What do you think to the people who say that, oh, you was blocked? Boel, you blocked wide trims? No, you said that's all you wanted to say? All right, DM me and I'll unblock you. But Golden Girl, what do you say to the people that say they don't trust what the moms say because DDG funds her life?
What?
That's what people were saying. They were like, oh, they don't trust the mom's word in the situation, and they don't trust the mom with the baby because DDG funds the mom's life.
Did his mother come out and say anything about what they were going through?
She said that Hallie put air tags in the bags and stuff.
Right. Because guess what? She's helping her son present his case as evidence. So what y'all expect? Y'all expect for him not to respond to her allegations with his own evidence. So if his mom had knowledge of it, you daggone right she gonna come out and say, yep, I was there.
Saying that they don't trust her word because of that fact.
But the thing about it is we also don't know the relationship that Hallie has with his mama. They may not even get along. We don't know. All we can do is speculate.
We don't know.
All we can do is speculate.
At one time, we know they were communicating because she was in between them, facilitating the visitations. Him helping his mom out ain't got nothing to do with anything. So he just because he helps his mom out financially, that got something to do with anything? Come on, y'all. Y'all really believe the stuff that coming out y'all mouths? Like, let's use logic here.
Somebody in the chat said she has a right to track her child if he threatened to take the baby.
Come on. When did he threaten to take the baby? When he's agreed and let her take the baby out of the country and out of the state. So what? Because he probably said, okay, since you can take the child out of the country and out of the state, I'm going to do the same thing. I guess that's what you're saying is threatening about taking the child, but she's able to take the child out of the country and state. Come on, y'all. Y'all cannot be this naive. Come on now.
What do you think to the people who say that he's using the baby for clout and views?
So y'all do know that DDG has been very much successful before Hallie and Halo came into the picture, right? That man has been well established.
He using the baby to increase his views and popularity.
Well, hey, check his stats now. The baby ain't been on his stream, and hey, he done had his high streams, and Halo ain't even in the picture. So, and she lied in the court documents because she said DDG was away for weeks in Ohio at Streamer University. It was 4 days.
Yeah, that definitely was a lie.
That was a lie.
It was actually, Streamer University was actually, I think, 3 days.
Okay, 3 days because they left Monday. You're right. So that's even worse. So she lied and said it was for weeks. That's why she was requesting to let her take Halo out of the country because he's gone for weeks. Come on now.
Did you watch Streamer University?
I did.
She said I did.
Mm-hmm. That's how I know. She flat out lied to boost, so she can get cut. And see, to me, I feel like it was calculated because she knew she had to go out of the country for 2 months. So that was her way of hopefully taking the baby out of the country for 2 months.
They said that you are glazing DDG and being a classic pick-me.
Hey, I guess I'm a pick-me then, because I know how to use logic. So I take that. If that's what y'all want to call me, then hey, pick me.
Jazz said 40 years old and watching all this kitty stuff. Y'all is a mess. I heard I didn't see Streamer University, not because I didn't think that it was interesting. I just was busy that week. But
Yeah,
I heard that it was really good though. I heard that a lot of people said that it was really good.
I seen all kind of stuff on TikTok. It was a lot of older people say, "Dang, I feel. Am I wrong? Because I'm 35 or 40 watching Streamer University." I'm like, no, it's what's wrong with that? It's of all ages.
Yeah,
I'm
I heard
sure
that
it's
it
a
was
lot
good
of,
though. I
sure it's a
didn't
lot of
watch
older
it.
people
But
keeping up with it.
speaking
That ain't
of
got nothing to
Streamer
do with it.
University, what's up with Cooking with Kaya?
Oh, I don't pay attention to her like that. I can't give you nothing on her.
She going viral now for crying and saying that she's over it and like she's acting like she's about to delete herself. She
Yeah,
going
because she
through it.
probably look, that unfortunately that's what comes along with the territory. I think I seen something about, I guess they were coming at her or something. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. But
Unforgettable.
the internet will do that to you, unfortunately.
Right. Well, all right. I don't know what else there is to
Can I
talk
say
about. Go
something
ahead.
real
I'm gonna
quick?
let you talk. Go ahead.
I wanted to tell you both. A lot of these people that's in the chat making these comments, I bet you they do not have any kids.
I don't feel like some of them probably don't.
Because there's nobody who, like she said, using logic, Golden Girl, would even sit here and not see that what she's doing, and also him. I'm not gonna sit here and say he isn't either. Um, Using this for a benefit for themselves to be petty and hurt the other one. Is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is just be fair with the custody.
That's what I'm saying.
Just be fair with the custody.
That's it. And see, at the end of the day, if they don't, and they got the courts involved, like I said before, the courts will take that baby away. And if she could sit there and let with with his mom sitting across from her in the floor, and they're both taking turns calling Halo back and forth to them, then if you could trust her to do that, why can't you trust her to watch him while he's gone?
Because she
Or
being
while he's with,
spiteful.
I mean, come on. At
Let's
some
not act
point,
like women can't be spiteful now.
are very spiteful. Very. And men too.
And men,
What do you think to Boel that says kids don't mean you have all the answers? Just saying.
There's no perfect parent either. But also
Sure
they don't
ain't.
mean to sit around here and play with a person who's trying to be in his child's life.
So all y'all in the comments, y'all think it's really fair that she wants to give that man 6 hours, what, 1 day a week? Are you kidding me?
And because of what? Because he cheated? What they
How
got
is
to
that
do with
fair?
Halo?
Well, they
That
said
ain't
because he
right.
busted her chip on the steering wheel.
That she like Golden Girl said. How? Why did she have to put the baby in the car?
Logic.
Why?
Logic. Why did she have to follow him out to the car to buckle the baby? That's how I know she was following out there, probably cussing him out, demanding that he talk to her about
Right
the
then
visitation.
and there.
But it's his fault because he's a narcissist. So anything that she do is his fault because he's a narcissist. And he gaslit her to follow him to the car and do all of those things.
So if he's a narcissist, does that make her a psycho? Because she played with knives and guns.
No, because her reaction is only because of him.
But okay, but wasn't her reaction before she got pregnant with Halo?
No, but it was still only because of DDG though.
Oh, okay.
Everything his fault.
I don't mean no harm. If warning come before destruction, if I was his mother, I would have been put a stop to her.
Ain't nothing you can do when these boys want they wanker wet as a mama.
Yeah, but you can tell him, look now, look, that right there gonna be a problem.
And the mama still ain't come out and say nothing.
Princess did not mean she really wasn't Ursula in real life.
Okay, they getting that Little Mermaid character mixed up. That's a fictional character.
When I saw that video the other day of her talking about how she acts in a relationship, he met his match.
They both wrong at the end of the day. They both immature.
Thank you.
But like I said, be fair when it comes to the visitation. Period. If she can take the baby out of the country and out of state, why can't he?
He can too.
Period.
And we gonna stop the link on that note. Why I'm funny? Why y'all laughing at me in the chat saying I'm funny? Y'all help me decide whether to go back to New York or not. That's what y'all help me do.
Yep, go to New York. Yeah, we need you in New York.